What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now. I'm Alex. I'm once again joined by Christy, and we're here to review Game of Thrones Season 8, Episode 5. This is going to be a spoiler-filled review, so we're going to be going over all the big details of the episode, what we thought about this episode, but we are going to be spoiling it, so if you guys haven't seen it yet, turn away now, but if you have, then here we go, and I'm going to start. I thought this episode overall was kind of conflicted to me, because I thought that overall the episode was pretty good, but at the same time, it was pretty hard to like it. Now, if you guys have watched our videos last week, we talked about basically everything that was going to happen in this week's episode. So when it came to watching it, firstly, I kind of knew what was going to happen, or at least I expected things to happen, and then still, just the way that the things actually went down, the big moments that we knew were going to happen, right? Jaime dying, Jaime and Cersei, I guess, dying, but how, all that stuff that was going to happen, that Daenerys was going to kind of like crack and just do everything, just seemed like when I was watching it, even Varys dying, just seemed when I was watching it that it kind of fell through again. This episode was big for really big moment shots, a ton of really cool camera work, a lot of cinematography that I thought was awesome. There were some cool battles, the Hound and the Mount and all that. But again, I mean, knowing it was going to happen, maybe that took away. But I just feel like some of it was forced writing. Yet again, did Euron need to be the one to wound Jaime that badly? Did that fight even need to happen in the first place? I 100% don't think so. Daenerys, is she the kind of character that really would just snap and burn literally everything to the ground? I don't think she is. I think that's the way they wrote her character over the last 2-3 episodes. And again, we talked about that. Predictable. They kind of have turned their back on a lot of these characters and made them something that, we've been watching a lot of these characters for years, and we didn't know that these were how these characters acted, I guess, up until now. Same thing with Jon. Jon has been regulated to a very, very side character, a character that only knows how to say 2 or 3 things. You are my queen, I love you, stuff like that. Those are the only things that Jon seemingly is able to do nowadays, and that's kind of annoying to watch. I just feel like as these episodes go, yes, this had big moments. Yes, we lost like 5, 6, 7 big characters. Do we lose them in cool ways? Well, some of the characters I do think we lost in some cool ways. But overall, I just feel like it's kind of hampered. There's kind of this cloud around all of it just because of like poor writing. The Daenerys destroying all of the ships and the entire, King's Landing wall and then all of the, those arrows. Couldn't she have done that, 2 episodes ago? Did she have to lose a dragon in order to do that? Like, it just seems kind of like lazy writing and a lazy way of putting it all together. Again, I thought this episode probably overall was maybe the strongest. I mean, they had some really good shots. It was a huge episode, obviously, because of a lot of the deaths and whatnot, and obviously setting us up for the huge series finale next week. But I just, again, felt that this episode overall, the writing held it back. Characters were doing things, again, just like this whole season, kind of uncharacteristic to them. Things felt forced. Things felt kind of like they were written just to write them. Scenes felt like they were placed in just to have something cool to do or cool to look at or cool to say. And that's not really what makes Game of Thrones Game of Thrones. So I feel like this is another example, another episode of the show kind of going back against itself and hurting the reputation, because these are the biggest episodes and these are the episodes that truly, truly matter. And you can have the greatest 7 seasons that you can possibly have, and they have had some amazing seasons, but I just feel like, again, it's another episode where they're kind of dropping the ball with characters, with big moments, with how people maybe expected big moments to happen. And again, the predictability of where this is going for the next episode couldn't be more clear, but if it isn't, we've talked about it again last week and we will talk about it again this week. So overall, decent episode, maybe overall the best put together episode, but just not well written, not well, put together in general.
I agree with basically everything you said. I think that this episode was really good in a sense that the shots and, a lot of the scenes that were shot, the way that they were shot, I really liked that whole part of it. But as a story-wise, I didn't like this episode. I didn't feel like it was very strong, and I feel like it was just kind of a slap in the face to the past 7 seasons. I feel like they really just kind of buried the hatchet with all of the character development and everything. And I think, in a sense, a lot, Daenerys snapped. It was kind of predicted. I mean, we even said in past leaked videos, which I was kind of hoping, honestly, that the leaks weren't true, but they were. And that everything that happened, and I feel like I was really just kind of hoping it wouldn't happen. I was hoping that maybe, you know, they would just kind of snap their fingers and suddenly make a better episode, but they didn't. They just kind of left it. And I hated the way that they just kind of killed all of the character stories. Even Tyrion, you know, he loves his brother and he saved his brother because he wanted his brother to be happy and survive and make it out. And, you know, I liked that about him because it kind of was a callback to the before when Tyrion kind of cried for his brother because it's the only person he cared about. But then all of a sudden he just kind of, you know, that scene just was very rushed and he was kind of like, okay, bye. And, you know, it was an emotional moment in that moment. But then afterwards, it was just kind of a like, all right, we're done with that scene, then move on to the next thing. And it just was, everything was just very rushed. And even Qyburn, you know, he just all of a sudden got thrown to the side by the mountain. He had no story. I was hoping that maybe he even kind of had like a secret plot against Cersei, or even just a secret plot in general of something he wanted. But turns out we'll never find out what he actually wanted or why he actually did the things he did. I guess he was just a mad scientist and was just happy to have a lab to do it for, because literally we don't get to know anything now that he just got his head smashed and was thrown to the side like nothing mattered, which, you know, is kind of a bummer. And honestly, I felt bad for Cersei in that ending, even though the last episode I was like, man, burn her to the ground. This episode I'm like, run, Cersei. But it just kind of, it was a bummer. Because even Qyburn tried to protect her and the mountain protect her due to duty, but then he just ditched her when his brother showed up. So then it's kind of confusing. Like, does the mountain suddenly, does he have memories and emotions and stuff? Because it's kind of been sort of plotted that he's like a zombie, but I guess he does remember because he remembered his brother enough. And that whole battle was a waste. The way they went out off the wall in the end, I was kind of, Missandei should have done that to Cersei in the end of the last episode and saved us all the trouble. But overall, especially with Daenerys' character, I understand that they have been somewhat setting up Daenerys to go into madness in the sense that they've been kind of showing her getting angry and isolated, but I don't think it's fair that they threw her into this madness, you know, role. I think that they really sloppily just threw it at her because I don't think it made a lot of sense. I think maybe if you added time with it, more episodes, more things to show her slipping, it would have made sense, but it didn't. It just kind of threw her into this anger. It showed that she was isolated and that she felt alone, and then they did it again this episode by making her feel like Jon betrayed her, then Tyrion betrayed her, and Varys betrayed her. Everyone close to her betrayed her. The only person she has left is Grey Worm, but both of them are kind of feeling this insane mourn for their lost friend / lover and everything else. And I understand that she's hurt and everything, but I don't feel like it matches her character to suddenly decide to burn all of these innocent people. It was ridiculous. I think that when she started charging, I expected her to just go straight for Cersei, just take down the castle. You know, I would have been okay with that, but instead she just decided to go back and forth, sweeping along the rows of people just to mark dead bodies along the way. What's the point of it? It didn't match her character. She's known for freedom. She even said when she was going to burn Varys, she said she was the mother of dragons, the breaker of chains, you know. If she left a lot of titles out, the freer people and everything like that. I noticed she left a lot of her other titles out, but I guess maybe she didn't remember them all, and Missandei was the one who remembered them all. But it was just kind of a bummer how they just kind of threw her to the side. And I agree with the Jon thing. He is sort of a side character now. He does what he's told, and then when he realized, guys, all right, everyone's surrendering, let's take a step back, he still was tossed to the side. And he, you know, decided, no, I'm not going to be a side character, and he saved people, and then he said, get out of the city, but he really didn't do anything. And Arya, I don't know what to expect for Arya. I have a theory of what she's going to do next episode, and it's also kind of a leak that's also been somewhat confirmed, but not, you know, we haven't seen a picture. But I think it's ridiculous and it's stupid, and Arya is suddenly the overpowered character of this episode. And why was there just a magnificently white horse in the middle of the way? Was it sent by the many-faced god? Was it sent by the fire god? Who knows? But there was a white horse in the middle of a battle, and it was perfect. I mean, its legs were dirty, but somehow you could still tell it was white, even though there was ashes and everything everywhere. That thing didn't get stained, so there's that. It's just very random, and I guess Arya is just the saving grace of us all. And you know what? At this point, put Arya on the throne, guys, because that's the future I'm living for.
And if you guys want to go back and watch any of the past seasons, any of the past episodes of Game of Thrones, we have a link in the description below. It's a Fandango Now affiliate link. If you click that, if you buy or rent something through that, it helps us out. on the channel. But you can go back and you can watch any of the old Game of Thrones episodes. They're all there for you. You can rent, buy them. You can link your Fandango points if you get the VIP points when you go see a movie. If you guys saw Avengers Endgame, you can earn points there, and you can use them. You can redeem them on Fandango now when you rent or buy movies or TV shows. So it's a nice little thing you can do with linking them. If you guys are interested in that, definitely check out, like I said, that code in the description box below. So let us know what you guys thought of this episode in the comments below. What did you like? What didn't you like? What are you expecting for the last episode? On Tuesday, we're going to be talking about the final episode, going over the last things that we've heard about this episode, kind of going over those kind of leaks. So if you guys want to stop back at the channel on Tuesday, make sure you guys subscribe, hit the bell icon so you guys know when these videos go up. And then we will, of course, be reviewing the series finale next Sunday, as well as having a series of videos when the season is over, kind of talking about the legacy of Game of Thrones and how they handled this season overall. So we really appreciate you guys watching, as always, and we hope to see you on the next video.